Sunday Worship Day 18 Psalms 138:1 I will praise you with my whole heart. Before the gods I will sing praises to you. Psalm 138:1 is a powerful declaration of wholehearted worship and unwavering allegiance to the one true God. The psalmist, David, begins with a personal commitment to praise God with his whole heart, emphasizing sincerity, depth, and devotion in worship. This act of praise is not casual or half-hearted but springs from a heart fully engaged and in awe of God's greatness. David boldly proclaims that his praise will be offered before the gods, referring to the idols or false deities that people around him may have worshipped. This statement demonstrates David's courage to publicly exalt the one true God, even in the presence of other religious systems or powers that challenge his supremacy. By singing praises to the Lord in such a context, David declares that Yahweh alone is worthy of worship and that no other power or authority can compare to him. In Exodus 23, God commands his people, "You shall have no other gods before me," a foundational truth that David embraces and lives out in this verse. In 1 Kings 18:39, the people of Israel declare, "The Lord, He is God." After Elijah's demonstration of God's power over the prophets of Baal, illustrating how true worship confronts false beliefs. In Deuteronomy 6:5, Moses instructs the people to love the Lord their God with all their heart, soul, and strength, echoing the wholehearted devotion reflected in David's worship. In John 4:24, Jesus teaches that true worshippers must worship the Father in spirit and truth, pointing to the sincerity and authenticity in David's declaration of praise. In Acts 16:25, Paul and Silas sing hymns to God in prison, offering wholehearted worship despite their difficult circumstances, much like David's boldness in praising God before the gods. In Revelation 4:11, the heavenly hosts proclaim, "You are worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power," affirming that God alone is deserving of all praise. Psalm 138 was written in a context where David faced opposition, including from nations that worshipped other gods, yet he resolved to remain steadfast in exalting Yahweh. The historical setting reveals David's confidence in God's sovereignty over all powers, visible and invisible, and his gratitude for God's faithfulness and loving-kindness. For today's church, this verse serves as a call to wholehearted worship, not merely as a private act but as a public testimony of God's greatness. It challenges believers to stand firm in their faith, even when surrounded by competing ideologies, and to boldly proclaim God's worthiness of praise. It encourages us to remove distractions and idols from our lives, whether they are material possessions, ambitions, or anything else that competes for our devotion. It reminds us that worship must be sincere, rooted in love for God, and free from compromise, declaring His glory in all aspects of life. For the modern generation, this verse is a reminder that true worship goes beyond words. It involves living a life that exalts God before a watching world. In a society that often elevates false gods such as wealth, fame, and power, this verse challenges us to prioritize God above all else and to make Him the center of our worship. God bless you and give you grace after grace.